These harvest mice may be small, but they have a big responsibility. Based in the Visitors Centre at Rodley Nature Reserve, they could now be the only surviving breeding pairs here. The Boxing Day flooding was the worst the reserve has ever experienced, with over two-thirds of the site remaining underwater for days, including the area where the mice are released. However, the majority of the breeding programme is based off-site. Maxine Brooke took responsibility for overseeing the Harvest Mice Introduction project when planning began in 2011. The specially constructed shed can house up to 30 tanks of mice. Over 500 mice have been released into the reserve in pairs, but there is little hope any have survived.
It was an ideal spot. We've got reeds, we've got brambles, we've got long grasses. There were obviously the brambles, we've got blackberries, so there were fruit there. There's all the seeds there. There's the reeds, which is ideal nesting sites. The long grass, which is ideal nesting sites. And we've also surveyed when the river floods. But unfortunately, it's just never flooded like it did. It is a floodplain. We can't get away from that. It is a floodplain. But it was just absolutely gobsmacking because we just didn't expect it like that. Nobody did.
Rodley Nature Reserve is 4 miles from the centre of Leeds, and visitors have to cross the River Aire to access the site. The reserve was forced to close early on Boxing Day as the water reached dangerously high levels. Although the devastation caused by the flooding is clearly visible on the bank, many areas within the site are already recovering well.
A bright February afternoon and the perfect kind of weather for visiting the nature reserve. But just over a month ago, the field behind me looked very different. It was full of water with fish swimming through it when the River Aire burst its banks. The nature reserve have put a call out for people to come and support them in their clear up with the rubbish that was left behind, but there's an awful lot of rebuilding to be done.
The ground is still too wet to work on in many areas. These dragonfly ponds could take years to re-establish, and there are serious implications across the site.
We are concerned about the impact that this may have had on the wildlife in those areas that were flooded. Particularly so the smaller mammals like the wood mice, bank voles, and also the harvest mice. We have made 2 major releases of harvest mice behind the reed bed in the last couple of years. That area was very heavily flooded, and we do have grave concerns that they may well have been wiped out, unfortunately.
Visitors have continued to support the 75-acre wetland reserve during the rebuilding, with major work being carried out to repair dipping ponds, fences and hides. The Harvest Mice Introduction site is also being moved to a new location on higher ground. Surveys will be carried out in spring to check the level of mammal activity on the site, and releases of the next generation of harvest mice are planned for later this year.